Have you ever stumbled upon a deal so good it's almost eerie? Meet our family of three who recently did just that. They secured an old mansion, a grand structure of bygone eras, for a price that could only be described as a song. The excitement was palpable as they moved into their new abode, the promise of a fresh start in the air. Yet, amidst the joy and anticipation, there was an unsettling undercurrent, a sense of unease that they couldn't quite shake off. The house, grand as it was, seemed unnaturally cold, as if it carried a perpetual draft. Even the warmth of their familial bond couldn't seem to dispel the chill that clung to the air. To add to the disquiet, there were noises, strange and unexplained, that echoed through the mansion at night, breaking the silence in the most disconcerting way. But they shrugged it off, attributing their unease to the unfamiliarity of the new house. It was not long before the family started encountering odd occurrences. The small, seemingly mundane peculiarities at first were easy to brush off. An object out of place, a door slightly ajar that was believed to be securely closed. But as days rolled into weeks, these anomalies became harder to ignore. Objects began to move inexplicably. A favorite mug, a cherished photo frame, a well-used book, all found in places they shouldn't be. The family would leave a room only to return moments later and find things not as they had left them. The unsettling sensation of being toyed with began to seep into their daily lives. The house also developed a peculiar habit of slamming doors shut, startling the family at the most unexpected moments. A sudden bang in the middle of the night, a door closing with force when there was no breeze to cause it. It was as if the house itself was expressing its discontent. And then there was the family cat, a once cheerful and playful pet that now refused to enter certain rooms. As if it could sense something the humans couldn't. It would hiss and arch its back, its fur standing on end at the mere suggestion of entering these spaces. The daughter, a young girl with a vivid imagination, began to see a shadowy figure in her room at night. She would wake up screaming, clutching her teddy bear, insisting that someone was watching her. Her parents, in an attempt to calm her fears, dismissed this as nightmares, a result of too many ghost stories before bedtime. The father, a man of rational thought, started to hear whispers when he was alone in his study. Low, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. It was a chilling experience that he struggled to rationalize. The mother, a woman of warmth and comfort, would feel a cold touch on her shoulder while she was cooking in the kitchen, an icy grip that made her shiver despite the heat of the stove, a presence that was felt but never seen. Despite these occurrences, the family tried to rationalize the events and decided to stay in the house. But as days turned into weeks, the unsettling events escalated. It was as if the family had stepped into a realm where the ordinary rules of reality no longer applied. They began to see apparitions, fleeting glimpses of figures disappearing around corners, faces staring back at them from mirrors. The night was no longer a time of rest, but a symphony of haunting sounds. Laughter echoed through the halls, a chilling, hollow sound that froze the blood in their veins. Cries of sorrow seeped through the walls, a mournful dirge that lingered long after the silence returned. And then, there were the belongings, everyday items that seemed to have a mind of their own. A book left on the coffee table would find its way back to the shelf. A mug in the sink would reappear in the cupboard. The family was living in a jigsaw puzzle that kept rearranging itself. But perhaps the most unsettling of all was the daughter's toys. They moved on their own, as if pulled by invisible strings. The daughter, however, was not afraid. Instead, she claimed she had made a new friend, a little girl who lived in the walls. The family would hear her talking and laughing to thin air, speaking of her invisible playmate. As the fear grew, so did the family's realization that they were not alone in the house. The unseen presence was becoming increasingly bold, and the family was left to wonder just who or what was sharing their home with them. But what happens when the unseen becomes unbearable? As the family's courage mounts, they decide to delve into the house's murky past. What they uncover are shadows of tragic events, lingering like ghostly whispers in the walls. They come to a chilling realization. They are not alone. They share their home with a spirit, restless and trapped in time. And then, one night, the house fell eerily silent. What happened to the family? Well, that's a story for another time.